Welcome back to Talk Travel with Samantha, the show that takes you beyond the brochure and into the places, experiences, and stories that make travel unforgettable. I'm Samantha with Fabulous Adventures Travel, and today we're heading across the Atlantic to one of my favorite cities on earth, London. Now, if your idea of London is just Big Ben, red phone booths, and rainy weather, you're missing about 95% of what makes this city incredible. Obviously, we're going to talk about those things too, because I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about a lot of that stuff and tell you the things that I've done so that you have an idea, because everyone's going over there to see it. But I do want to touch on a couple things where you can see off the beaten path, right? So today, I'll show you where locals actually eat, the viewpoints tourists miss, neighborhoods you wish you stayed in instead of just visiting, and why London deserves more than a 2-day stopover. Grab a cup of tea or maybe something a little stronger, and let's head to England. So one of the biggest misconceptions about London is that people think they've quote unquote done London, right? So you see Buckingham Palace, you ride the London Eye, you take a selfie with Big Ben, then you move on. You open the door to the red phone booth, but London isn't really about the landmarks. It's actually about the neighborhoods. One of the things that I actually love the most about London is that one moment you're in a city and the next minute you're in this neighborhood where, moms are pushing buggies on the street, kids are running to this park, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was in London. What? Where did I go? I love that about London. I actually always said that I could totally 1000% live there. I think it's so cool because each of the neighborhoods feel like it's its own little city, right? So Covent Garden is energetic and filled with street performers. Soho buzzes late into the evening with theaters and cocktail bars and incredible restaurants. Oh, the theaters are amazing. And Notting Hill feels like you've stepped into a romantic movie. Of course, that's what it feels like because they did film the movie there. So, and Shoreditch is London's creative heartbeat with murals, coffee shops, and hidden bars. So this is actually where the Virgin Hotel lives, is actually in Shoreditch. So it's funny because, I'm a very, very big Virgin fan of all things Virgin. I do love their hotels. Virgin Voyages, of course, is one of my favorite things. So I have yet to stay at the Virgin Hotel in London, which feels like that should be something that I do someday, but it is in Shoreditch, which is funny. So you could spend an entire week exploring one neighborhood every day and never run out of things to do. So this is what makes London different from almost every other European capital. It's constantly changing. So you can 1000% do all of the things, right? So I've been here a couple times, and most of the time it's just as a stopover. It's not to, stay for a long period of time. Although I did come to stay for a long period of time and went straight to the Cotswolds and never saw London, which I find hilarious because that's just super strange for me because I absolutely love London. It just wasn't in the cards for that trip. But London, you should go and just chill, right? So my suggestion, of course, is to don't overbook yourself. So now that I've been a few times, I don't, of course, do all those touristy things that I did do. I check those boxes. And now I just wander the streets and oh my goodness, I just can't love that city more. So instead of trying to cross, 20 attractions off your list, choose one neighborhood each day and simply wander. So that would be my tip, is just make sure that you're going to a neighborhood and wandering. So I just love that about it. So let's talk about the famous attractions, obviously, because they don't disappoint, right? So Tower of London is so great. It's packed. I will tell you that, of course, but it's not just a castle. It's over 900 years of royal drama, executions, treasures, and unbelievable stories. So I will tell you that we did a private tour and the guide took us around through there, and the stories that he told us were so great to hear because okay, please forgive me for saying this, but it makes it not feel like you are walking through, these dark hallways of just stone and you're just staring at stone for, nothing. So I know that sounds terrible, but that's what sometimes it can feel like. But he explained all of the stories from there and all of the drama and all that stuff. and the executions and all of that, which is so cool. So the other cool thing that's there that a lot of people don't know is the crown jewels. So the crown jewels alone are worth seeing. I will tell you that we waited in a very long line to see the crown jewels. The line was like almost to the back of, it was far. It was almost to the back of Tower of London. It was, all the way to the end over there, but just really, really cool. And to walk through them, they don't really, you have to kind of keep moving. It's very dark in there. If I remember correctly, there was no filming. You couldn't photograph, none of that. So, and they're very, very heavily, obviously guarded. So one of the cool things that I did see is that I think someone had just gotten coronated. I think it was the king. And there was a fingerprint that they had left on there, which I thought was really crazy that it didn't get cleaned. And I was like, what the heck? How is there a fingerprint on the, I don't even know what that stick is called that they hold up. So anyways, it was there. It was really cool. It was cool to see. So Westminster Abbey, of course, oh my goodness, is another one that whether you're interested in royalty or not, walking where kings and queens have been crowned for centuries is pretty amazing, as well as buried, by the way. There's all kinds of burials in there. It's like, walking amongst the dead. It's nuts, but super, super cool. And I have gone a couple times and I finally got in there the last time that I went because I was like, I got to get into this Westminster Abbey. So all of these things, I highly suggest booking ahead of time and cutting the line and making sure that you're not standing in line for a ticket. And some of them you cannot get in day of because it will be sold out. So make sure you're booking tickets ahead of time. So the Tower Bridge, many visitors mistakenly call this the London Bridge. It's actually the Tower Bridge. And yes, you can walk across the glass floor above the traffic. I have not done that, but I have walked on the Tower Bridge and walked across, the actual bridge. I did not go up on the glass floor. And then the British Museum, which is completely free. You can spend several days in there. So the Rosetta Stone, Egyptian mummies, Greek sculptures. It's one of the world's greatest museums. So don't miss the British Museum because a lot of people don't really go to that one. So I will say that Buckingham Palace has to be mentioned, of course, because we don't have royalty here in the US, so it's kind of cool to see and think about that there's actually still royalty out there, which is, we're not just reading it in the tabloids, we're not just hearing about it. They actually do exist. So Buckingham Palace is only open in the summer for a short period of time when the king and queen leave and go to their summer house. So know that you can only go there during a certain time. So your trip has to fall during that time. If that is something you're dreaming to see, your trip has to fall during that time that it's actually open. And I shouldn't say only summer. I should just say it's only open during certain times. During the summer, I guess, is when you can go into the actual quarters, and I have yet to be able to do that. So that has even smaller amount of tickets. So getting into Buckingham Palace, of course, has a small amount of tickets that you have to book, months in advance. But then getting into the quarters where you can actually see where everything happens, that's another small amount of tickets. And I did not get those. So that is definitely something that's going to happen at some point in time coming back to London. I will try and get those tickets, but I have not seen the living quarters at all. So know that months in advance. Look that stuff up for months in advance, or better yet, call Fabulous Adventures Travel and we'll help you figure it out. So the other cool thing, I've actually had dinner up here at the Sky Garden. So here's a little insider tip. Most visitors pay to go up to the Shard. Instead, reserve a free ticket to the Sky Garden, and it's the same spectacular skyline and no expensive admission. And I actually had dinner up there. The food was phenomenal. So, and they had like a DJ playing in the Sky Garden, and, they had drinks and bars and everything. And of course, the skyline was absolutely beautiful up there overlooking London. It was just gorgeous. So I highly, highly suggest that. So this next portion of Talk Travel with Samantha is brought to you by Fabulous Adventures Travel. Whether you're dreaming of London, Scotland, a European river cruise, or your next luxury vacation, our travel advisors help you experience destinations, not just visit them. From boutique hotels to unforgettable tours, we'll help create a vacation that's perfectly designed for you. Visit fabulousadventurestravel.com and let us plan your next fabulous adventure. So let's talk about a little bit about Hidden London. Let's get away from the crowds a little bit. So here are some of my favorite lesser known experiences. And I'm actually going to go back and talk about one. I think we'll talk about it here in just a second. One of my favorite places that we didn't get to talk about yet. So Leadenhall Market. If you're a Harry Potter fan, this Victorian market inspired Diagon Alley. Even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, it's one of the prettiest places in London, so don't miss that. So Little Venice, yes, London has canals. You can take a narrow boat through beautiful residential neighborhoods that feel nothing like central London, which would be so, so cool, right? Neal's Yard. Hidden behind ordinary streets in Covent Garden is a tiny courtyard exploding with colorful buildings. Perfect photos, wonderful cafes. Most tourists walk right past it. So don't walk past Neal's Yard. This one's really, really cool. St. Dunstan in the East. It's a medieval church destroyed during the World War II. It's now filled with gardens and climbing vines. It's peaceful, it's beautiful, and surprisingly quiet, which I don't think that's super surprising because it's a little garden. So cute. So let's talk about food. You can't go to London without eating. They have like some of the best food on the planet. And it's not your traditional what you think, like London food, right? Like it's all over the map. So London's food reputation has changed dramatically. So forget everything you heard. Today, London is one of the best food cities in the world. Start your morning with pastries at the Borough Market. The Borough Market, I'm speechless right now because it's so good. There is a viral place called Turnips Borough Market right there in the Borough Market, but it's called Turnips. And they went viral a couple years ago for their strawberries, like their whole strawberries with chocolate poured on them. So if that is your thing, do not miss it. It's so good. They actually have it down to a T where you think that the line's super long. It's not. It moves so fast and you grab it. But anyways, back to Borough Market, you can find anything you could possibly imagine at that place. You can find pastries, you can find fresh fish, you can find hummus, you can find flowers, anything that you want, you know, it's there. The strawberries. So make sure that you go to Borough Market at some point. It's so good. So it would be a travesty if I didn't say that you should definitely go find some fish and chips at a proper neighborhood pub because, of course, they're completely known for that. I have to say that I keep saying this, that the French, we call them French fries. Obviously, they call them chips. So know that chips are not what we think potato chips. Chips are their French fries, but they're a different kind of French fries. So if you ask for a French fry, which I find hysterical, and they have them, they'll actually bring you the shoestring fries that we have here. But their chips are again, I'm probably confusing you, are French fries, but they're usually thicker and double fried or triple fried sometimes, I guess. And they're thicker and bigger cut, and sometimes they're rounded. Like it's crazy. But make sure you go to a proper pub in a neighborhood and get that fish and chips and try it. So London's actually known for their Indian food. So try Indian food on Brick Lane. Go to Chinatown for their incredible dumplings. And I will tell you that I have had incredible dumplings at the Borough Market as well. Oh, they were so good. Have afternoon tea. Do you want to know where I had the best afternoon tea? Was at the Dorchester. I will tell you it was not cheap. So just know that if you want the traditional pinkies up, fine china, refined afternoon tea, and the most traditional way you possibly can, go to the Dorchester. It was unreal, but it was not cheap. I will also say that we upgraded it and made sure that we made some alcohol in it, or put some alcohol involved in it. I think we got Veuve Clicquot. So we had that with it. The other thing that we had that they made right there at the table in the Dorchester is the Chantilly lace. So we had that as well, which, oh my goodness, you could have rolled me out of there because it was unreal. And I still dream about the Dorchester tea. I don't know that I want my pocketbook to still dream about the Dorchester tea, but I still dream about it because it was so good and I'm dying to go back. So know that if you want that traditional pinkies up, you know, white glove service, you know, everything made at the table right there, go to the Dorchester. It was phenomenal. So some of London's smaller boutique hotels serve wonderful afternoon tea as well at half the price. So, and if you want to really eat like a Londoner, find a Sunday roast. This is on my list of things to do. I am dying to go to a Sunday roast with roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, roasted potatoes, rich gravy, comfort food at its finest. I am dying for a Sunday roast. So I cannot wait to try that. So here are my quick London hacks, right? So you want to walk more than you think. I cannot begin to tell you how much walking I've done in London, and I think it just works out great. The tube is fantastic, but you'll miss so much underground, right? But of course, it gets you there fast. It gets you across town. It gets you, it's just easier. So I'm not knocking the tube. It's super easy. Get on it, get there, do what you got to do. Another tip that I want to say is, this is hard for us Americans to remember, but always stand on the right side of the escalators, because of course we do the right side, but they like to walk on the, go on the left. So you probably think, oh, I'll stand on the left side. No, stand on the right. And Londoners take that very seriously. So the other thing with the tube is get an Oyster Card and simply tap your credit card. It's not as easy as you think. I will say that a couple of us got locked out, but it's not so bad. You'll figure it out. Avoid taxis, of course, during rush hour, which is something you always want to do in a big city, right? And book a West End show the same day. If you're flexible, you can often find incredible discounts. So it's kind of the same thing as New York, where you get a discount. So I will tell you that booking it the same day online, we did get a discount. We actually saw Vita when it was here when it was in London last year. And they just did an amazing job with it. So it was really cool. So if musicals are your jam, go see a show in West End, because it was unreal. It was super, super great. Super, super fun to do. So, and finally, don't spend your entire vacation in central London, right? Some of the city's best memories happen outside. So, you can go to Bath, you can go to the Cotswolds, not too far. You can go to the Stonehenge if you want to. There's a lot of places that you can go to. But there's one more place that I really, really want to mention that I completely forgot to mention that I absolutely loved. It's another tourist hotspot, but it's not super touristy. It's the Shakespeare Globe. So I have actually avoided that almost every trip for some reason. I don't know why I thought I wasn't going to love it, but they have shows there, just so you know. So they do shows still there at the Shakespeare Globe, and I highly suggest it. I just heard from somebody that they loved it. We did not see a show when we were there because, like I mentioned, we did see one at West End, but we did the tour at the Shakespeare Globe, and the stories that you hear are unreal about how they did things back then, and how they did the entertainment, and how the stage shows happened, and where people stood, and how they threw food, and how they went to the bathroom right there. Like, it was so crazy. You need to just go and experience it and listen to it. So don't miss that. Even if you're like, I don't know anything about Shakespeare, the tour guide doesn't really, talk too much about Shakespeare. I mean, of course, the guide will talk about Shakespeare and the beginnings and how it all worked, but they talk more about the actual theater itself and how it worked and how the shows came about, and how the rehearsals went and all that stuff. So if Shakespeare is not your thing, this will probably still be your thing, because it's so cool to hear how they did that back then, right? Like, super neat to listen to all those stories. So don't miss the Shakespeare Globe. Take the tour. Also, you can schedule that ahead of time online as well, which is really, really cool to do ahead of time, so you don't have to wait in line. I do want to mention a little bit about hotels. I've actually stayed at a couple different areas in London and loved them all. I'm going to be honest. One of my favorite was in Kensington. So Kensington is, a little town, little neighborhood, I should say. And I know it doesn't sound it, because of course there's the Kensington Palace. It's right there and you can literally walk to it. And I did walk to it, but I've stayed at Kensington a couple times. It's a little bit cheaper there. So I want to make that point to let you know that because it's a little bit outside of the city, it's cheaper in Kensington. So look for some hotels there, because it's really easy to get around from Kensington. So I do highly suggest the Kensington area. So don't worry about that being, far away from Buckingham Palace or the Tower of London, or any of the other lovely things that are over there. So I have stayed also at St. Ermin's, which is right there near St. James, and right there near Buckingham Palace. We could totally walk to it, which was a phenomenal location. And of course, right near Big Ben. Those were amazing locations. So I have stayed there. I have also stayed near the London Waterloo train station. It's right there at Park County Plaza Hotel. It was actually a really nice hotel, and it was right next to the train station. We needed to get out super fast to get down to the ship And so it was very easy to go right there. So we stayed there and kind of explored London. So all of those places that I mentioned are great areas to stay in. Honestly, Kensington was the cheapest because it's a little bit, like I said, a little bit further out, but such a great area. And one more final place that I'd like to mention before I sign off here is Harrods. I know that you're going to laugh because, oh my gosh, it's a department store. Why would anyone want to go there? Whether shopping is your thing or not, you got to go to Harrods, because honestly, I wasn't going to go because I was like, it's just a department store. It's like any other, it's like Macy's. I really don't want to see it. This place is jaw-dropping because of the fact that it's so cool how they did it, and it's so busy in there, like so busy, but the way that they did it is so neat. So you just got to go see it, walk around a little bit. There's some amazing food downstairs on the first floor. There's like a market down there. There's a bunch of there's a huge chocolate hall. I think they call it a chocolate hall. You could smell it for miles. So if chocolate's your thing, it's in there. Don't miss it, because I can tell you I bought a ton of chocolate in there. All the different chocolate places are in there. So I think there's one, I think it's Chernobyl Walker is my favorite chocolate in England. I'm trying to remember the actual name, but it's so good. So don't miss that. And then there's also, you know, if you're kind of like, yeah, shopping is my thing, or maybe it is your wife's thing. So you can go hang out at a bar, because there is a really cool rooftop bar there. So you can go hang out at a bar and let her shop, which is really cool. So don't miss Harrods. And I will tell you that when I mentioned about all the walking, I've actually walked from Buckingham Palace to Harrods, then from Harrods to Kensington, where we stayed at Kensington. So know that it is all walkable. It's not close, but it's walkable and it's good, especially when you're not going during the dead of summer. You're not dying of heat when you're walking around. So be mindful of that time that you go. Again, you want to make sure you go during shoulder season, of course, not during the summer, because it's hot, right? So it's a city, so it's going to be hot there. So go in the shoulder season, go in the winter, probably enjoy all that too. But go in that shoulder season where it's, you know, less people and you won't be as super hot. So that is it for my London talk. I absolutely love London. So London isn't a city you finish, it's a city you begin. Every visit uncovers another hidden street, another neighborhood, another incredible restaurant, and another unforgettable view. And of course, for me, another unforgettable moment or memory, right? So that's why so many people return again and again, myself included. So if London is on your bucket list, or if you'd like to combine it with Scotland, the Cotswolds, Paris, or even a European river cruise, Fabulous Adventures would love to help you put together the perfect itinerary. So please visit fabulousadventurestravel.com or find me at www.talktravelwithsamantha.com and let our team handle every detail. So thanks for joining me today. And until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and remember, the world is a lot smaller than you think once you decide to go see it. So travel smarter, vacation harder, and we will see you next episode.